And we continue at 1:06 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Brandy Wings in Culver City.
John, it's official. Oakland has a new mayor, and Barbara Lee speaks for me is a bucket full of cliches.
Oaklanders expect and demand that we must govern in a new way. And y'all know me, right? Where there's a will, there's a way.
We have an almost 80-year-old woman who has all the same positions on all the same issues as the one they just threw out of office.
And apparently she can't read her own notes.
Oaklanders.
Good enough.
Absolutely.
We did have a absolutely request. We have a listener who works on the docks at the Port of Oakland, and if he doesn't hear a real deal Shangtao absolutely, he gets very upset.
And he said absolutely.
So that one's for you, Al.
Well, we don't want to piss off a union guy at the dock. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that the state of California is a sanctuary state, and the city of Los Angeles is a sanctuary city, and the county of Los Angeles certainly doesn't want to cooperate with the feds on anything related to immigration. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but we have a new U.S. attorney in Southern California. His name is Bill Essayli. He came from the California State Assembly, and he is Donald Trump's man to lead that office. And he says, you can take whatever political positions you want. If I come knocking, you better answer that damn door.
So Bill Essayli has figured out a new way to completely bypass California's sanctuary state laws. And it's fairly ingenious because according to sanctuary laws in the state of California or the city of Los Angeles or the city of San Francisco, police don't have to do anything about an ICE detainer request. But they have to, no matter what, deal with a federal warrant. And if you've been deported in this country and you crossed again, that is a federal crime. And that is where Bill Essayli is able to actually get into L.A. jails and charge people federally for that illegal reentry.
And there's nothing the locals can do about it.
For more, here is Fox 11 introducing their old colleague, and everyone knows him now, Bill Melugin. Don't you love that he got his star in L.A. going after Barbara Ferrer, Sheila Kuehl, and Gavin Newsom?
Oh, I love it.
He was the guy that broke the French Laundry. He was the guy that broke the outdoor dining scam where Sheila Kuehl dined outdoors the same day that she banned outdoor dining.
I have no patience for people that don't wear masks.
He was a legend, and he got snapped up by the network immediately.
Well, you could tell he was going to get picked up by a network, just like you can tell that Ashley Zavala is going to be the next one.
No, we need her. We need her so badly. There's nobody who covers Sacramento like her. All right, here's Fox 11 introducing Bill Melugin.
Prosecutors have launched a program with the goal of neutralizing California's sanctuary state policies. They say Operation Guardian Angel will make communities safer by taking undocumented criminal defendants directly into federal custody from state jails. Fox Bill.
You know, we should actually be applauding this in L.A. We're emptying the jails.
That's right. We're saving money.
We're putting them in federal prison.
Fox's Bill Melugin has this exclusive report.
Poor Alex. You could say how badly he wanted to say Fox 11's Bill Melugin.
Well, a couple years ago, he could.
Fox's Bill Melugin has this exclusive report.
In a Fox exclusive, you're watching an incredibly rare interaction as the jail in Los Angeles transfers an illegal alien to ICE custody. The sanctuary jurisdiction forced to hand this Mexican national over thanks to a first-of-its-kind federal operation.
With this operation, we're going to be neutralizing California's sanctuary state policies.
Bill Essayli is the U.S. attorney in L.A. and the architect of Operation Guardian Angel.
All right, guys, thanks for circling up.
Essayli
This guy is working fairly quickly to fix things that have been broken for a very long time in Southern California.
Oh, he's not wasting any time at all.
All right, guys, thanks for circling up.
It's got to feel good, too, because while he definitely had a voice in the assembly, he had no power.
And now he has a ton of power.
All right, guys, thanks for circling up.
Essayli has created a federal task force made up of ICE, HSI, FBI, DEA, and ATF agents.
That's a whole lot of letters.
That's alphabet soup.
How's his criminal history?
He's got the domestic violence.
They scan these criminal databases daily to find illegal aliens in local jails who have been previously deported from the United States.
By the way, isn't it interesting? Our jails are overcrowded. All you hear is L.A. County Board of Supervisors complain that Men's Central Jail is overcrowded and it's unsafe in there, and that's why we need to depopulate. When, if we just followed federal law, there are several people in there that could get transferred to federal custody today.
And they're people you don't want in your community. If you have these people who have these convictions, like the one that we're talking about right now, where there's domestic violence and all kinds of horrible things in the guy's past, why do you want him here?
We have a warrant for your arrest.
If they've returned to the U.S., they've committed a federal felony known as illegal reentry, and Essayli's office will immediately seek a criminal arrest warrant against them, which, unlike an ICE detainer, jails and sanctuary jurisdictions can't ignore.
We're going to flood.
And a lot of these people that are in jail, turns out they've been deported several times. And at that point, he absolutely has the authority to step into the jails where he's not wanted in L.A. and do his job.
Let's hope his printer is running out of ink on a daily basis printing out these warrants.
Can't ignore.
We're going to flood the system with warrants for criminal illegal immigrants that are in county jails. They can ignore a detainer, but they cannot ignore a criminal arrest warrant.
The sheriff's deputies, when they open the door, they're probably like, I can't believe this. We have to let you in. Wink.
Oh, you know they're all on his side.
Of course.
The federal task force brought us with them as they went to Twin Towers Jail in downtown L.A. to take custody of a previously deported alien they found in their database and filed a warrant on. He was facing local charges for robbery, but the jail immediately handed him over to ICE, with California's sanctuary policies unable to protect him from the criminal warrant.
They have no choice.
California's sanctuary law couldn't stop that. L.A.'s new sanctuary law couldn't stop that. Special Order 40 couldn't stop that.
I love the fact that the Trump administration is cleaning California up, whether we like it or not.
They have no choice. They will comply. And if they don't comply, if they interfere in our ability to arrest a federal felon, they can expect to face consequences for that.
And task force officials tell us once they're up and running at full steam, they project they're going to be arresting anywhere between 40 and 50 aliens from local sanctuary jails every single week. They say if they're successful here in Los Angeles, it could be a model to be used to neutralize sanctuary jurisdictions elsewhere all around the country. Reporting in Los Angeles, Bill Malugin, Fox News.
40 to 50 a week.
That's great. Keep in mind, these are people who have been picked up and arrested for crimes totally unrelated to immigration. These are people stealing your cars. These are people who are breaking into your homes. These are people who are beating their wives.
These are also people who have already been deported and came back anyway. And that's where Essayli can step in, because that is a federal crime.
So that's what the Trump administration is doing here in California to clean us up. Meanwhile, in Sacramento, it was revealed that the state's Medi-Cal fund is belly up because of the amount of money that we're spending on health care for illegal aliens. Newsom hinted that he's going to start forcing illegal aliens to kick in for their own health care, and people went nuts in Sacramento over that. But, Randy, we have new information related to Medi-Cal and the health care it's providing to illegal aliens.
Gavin Newsom made news last week in his May revised budget presentation by saying, okay, what we're going to do, because we've overspent a whole lot on this program, is we're going to stop people from joining the program next year. And the year after that, after he's out of office, he's going to charge everyone in the country illegally on Medi-Cal $100 a month as a premium. Well, the the State Senate Latino Caucus didn't like that, and they say, we don't want to do that. We don't want to kick anybody off. We'll even support a new tax to keep people on.
At a time when the cost of living in California has never been higher, they now want to raise taxes on the citizens of California to pay for health care for illegal aliens.
For more, here's KCRA3 in Sacramento and Ashley Zavala. Don't leave us, Ashley. We need you.
Well, a new tax, cuts to other state services. These are things that are now being talked about here at the state capitol as some lawmakers try to continue providing health care to undocumented people at the scale that California has been.
Has that lowered the occupancy rate of emergency rooms? Oh, it hasn't.
Oh, you go to an emergency room, it's a zoo.
As we've been reporting, state leaders ended up spending a lot more money than they thought they would on this program. This year alone, to cover 1.6 million undocumented people, California taxpayers are spending about $11 billion.
Does that math add up?
No, it doesn't.
It's $11 billion to cover essential health care for 1.6 million people?
If George W. Bush were around, he'd call that fuzzy math.
This year alone, to cover 1.6 million undocumented people, California taxpayers are spending about $11 billion. The state now
just based on the math in my head, isn't it like almost 10 grand per person?
It sounds like it.
The state next year is expecting to spend even more. To address that, the governor proposed...
Yeah, by saying we're going to cap the program in January, you're actually giving an invitation for everyone who hasn't signed up yet to sign up right now. So who knows what this program's going to cost when they finally cap it?
Oh, they're going to spike all the costs until the end of the year.
To address that, the governor proposed capping the program, no longer allowing undocumented adults to sign up starting in 2026. And for those who are already signed up, the governor proposes a monthly $100 premium. This would not have an impact on kids. The issue is that the federal government helps pay for Medicaid costs for low-income Californians. In fact, the federal government provides California with more than half of those health care funds. But the federal government will not reimburse the state for costs associated with undocumented immigrants.
We got to pay for all of it.
I love the fact that Trump is going to force them to change this policy. They may not know it. At some point, they're going to have to because they just can't afford it.
The Democratic Latino Legislative Caucus held this press conference today, blatantly rejecting the governor's proposal to make changes. The caucus did not provide any specific solutions. They said everything should be on the table, including a new tax to help pay for those costs.
Here we go.
More taxes on Californians.
We've got to assess everything. We're saying we've got to be reasonable about this approach. We have to stop the narrative on vilifying immigrants.
The rhetoric, what they want you to believe is that our community is at fault for the deficit in our state's budget.
Well, if you're going over on the amount of money that was allocated to be spent on this program, then you are going after the state's budget.
But it's not.
Gavin had to go to the legislature twice in the last 2 months to ask for $3 billion and then another $2.5 billion because Medi-Cal was out of money.
And it's going to get worse.
But it's not. What is happening year after year after year is that entities, businesses are getting away with providing a less than livable wage or getting away with forcing their employees to have a part-time schedule, forcing them into our state's driven Medi-Cal program.
Yeah, that's it.
So what are you advocating for? The state of California owning the means of production?
Why, yes.
Now, California this year also has a Republican Hispanic Legislative Caucus. We checked in with members there, some who tell us that the health care was a promise that the governor could not keep. Assemblyman Josh Hoover is one of those members. Here's what he had to say about a possible new tax that the Democrats are floating.
The idea that they would even consider a tax increase to cover these services, I think it just shows where California's priorities are. We are, the governor, to his credit, is trying to be a little bit more responsible. We cannot, in good conscience, continue to cover those programs while cutting IHSS and cutting foster youth programs and all these other priorities in California.
Over the next...
Well, that's what we do in California. We cut the essentials to pay for all the nonsense.
And you cut services that are meant for people who pay the bills to give services to people who shouldn't even be here in the first place.
Over the next month or so, this will be one of, if not the biggest debate as California lawmakers and the governor try to nail down the state spending plan for the upcoming year. Reporting at the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
So there you go. The California Democrat Legislative Caucus not okay with the idea of capping people from joining this Medi-Call for Illegal Alien program and charging them a premium, and they're supporting a possible new tax in order to keep that system afloat.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to Gavin Newsom's relationship with the Democrats in the legislature, because we know he upset them when he said that biological men should not be playing in women's sports, and they reacted very negatively to that. And then he came out and said, Medi-Cal is going bankrupt because we're spending too much on illegal aliens, and we want them to kick in, and the legislature is going bonkers over that. And we know that independent of those two subjects, they don't have much access to him. He's busy, focused on national issues, on his podcast, on being a candidate for president, and he's not in Sacramento working hand in hand with the legislature on these issues. They're completely cut out of the process. They don't have FaceTime with him. He regards himself as a celebrity, and he regards them as the minor leagues. He's the Yankees. They're the Mud Hens. If you're the legislature and you're a co-equal branch of government and you have a supermajority and he treats you like you don't exist, that's going to get under your skin. So we'll find out real soon if this Cold War between the governor and the legislature goes hot. I think there's a chance that it could. Because as a lame duck termed out governor, every day that goes by, he has fewer options to punish them if they get on the wrong side of him. And once you lose your leverage over the legislature, and they know that someone else is going to be sitting in that chair in 2026, they're going to start sucking up to Eleni Kounalakis or Kamala Harris or Katie Porter or Antonio Villaraigosa or whomever they think will be the next governor, and they're going to start looking at Gavin as if he's yesterday's news. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, now that we've reached the halfway point of today's show, if you want to continue listening to us after we sign off at 3, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is subscribe to our podcast, and we would love it if everyone listening right now subscribe to the show. The episodes go straight to your phone. If you ever miss one, you can listen to them. If you want to hear something again, you can listen to them. Easy ways to subscribe. You can go to the Apple Podcast app, search for The John Phillips Show. iHeartRadio, search for The John Phillips Show. Usually it says subscribe or it says follow. Spotify. Anywhere that you look for podcasts, look for The John Phillips Show, hit subscribe, and that way you can make us look good.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes the Beach Boys with special guest John Stamos at the Long Beach Terrace Theater on August 10th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, call in number 9 at 1-888-790-5222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Nederlander Concerts. Good luck dialing.
And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, the first edition is an Ed Laskos edition.
I feel like it's been a while, but of course, whenever there's a crime story in Los Angeles, even though there's a lot of great reporters in Southern California on the different news stations, we're always secretly hoping that Fox 11's going to send Ed Laskos out.
Enough already.
He's just the best.
And it's on, like Donkey Kong.
And he was out in Fairfax where another smash and grab took place. For more, here's Fox 11 and Ed Laskos.
New at 10, a high-end shoe store gets hit by smash-and-grab burglars in the Fairfax district.
Now we're hearing from business owners who say this is a growing problem. We go live to Fox 11's Ed Laskos with more. Ed?
Did the shoe store have one of those stickers that Nathan Hochman is putting on 7-Elevens? Apparently it's helping.
And Christine, the business owners here are reeling this late hour. That is the business owners who are still around. This, the latest target. The security gate is down, but the blue plastic wrap, the cardboard is up, covering up the gaping hole.
Whoa.
That is quite a description.
The business.
That's why you call out Ed.
You don't get that kind of description on NPR.
This man paints a picture with his words.
The business owner here, he doesn't want to show you his face, but he does want to show you his frustration over this out-of-control crime. Watch. The engine is still running, even after this daring smash and grab. Check it from security cameras. Just the latest in a terrifying series of these burglaries, all targeting the Fairfax district.
You know, it's one of these things, I don't know how we undo the concept of driving a car through a business. This wasn't a thing 5 years ago, and I don't know how you can ever stop it.
No, and again, we're talking about an expensive area. The Fairfax district is not cheap.
The effort you got to put into just cleaning up, let alone making sure that the kids and certain people have jobs. So, you know what I'm saying? It's heartbreaking, bro.
Heartbreaking, he says, as the writing's on the wall all over here along Fairfax, one closed business after another. This security video.
It's not going to be a high-end neighborhood for long.
This security video from yet
I mean, you think about how expensive it is to do business here, how expensive rent is in a place like the Fairfax district, business licenses, all the other things. Your labor costs are constantly going up. And then you have to deal with the fact that someone can take a Kia and crash through your front door on any given night. How do you survive?
Well, and then you get knocked off your insurance policy.
This security video from yet another business hit not once but twice in just the last few months.
Just watching my neighbor go through it, I knew I wasn't exempt, but I didn't think it was going to ever happen because it seemed like once he went through it twice, it should have brought more awareness to the neighborhood, but I think I guess it didn't.
Well, it brings a different kind of awareness because there are criminals that watch the news every day that see, hey, no one's getting caught for this.
And keep in mind, this is with the new district attorney. But word has gotten out that the state is so awful at keeping people in prison, even if you get caught, to them, it's still worth it.
Well, and the sad truth is, most of them don't get caught. You're in and out so quickly, even the best police response times are just not going to beat you crashing into a business with a car and you're out in 60 seconds.
Nope.
I guess it didn't.
He's with the latest target, Soul Stage. Its storefront smashed open. The burglars using that blue Toyota as a
Toyota? That's new.
That's rare. This is the first one we've done in a very long time where it hasn't been a Hyundai or a Kia.
Well, you're going to get to a point where all of the Hyundais and Kias that had that defect where they could be hacked by the USB drive that the kids learned about on TikTok, all of them will have been stolen, crashed, and burned. Gonna have to find something else. You have to go back to the old-fashioned way and carjack someone at a gas station.
But you know what happens, Randy? You make better mousetraps, you end up with smarter mice.
The burglars using that blue Toyota as a battering ram.
That's what they are.
This is why you get Ed.
The burglars using that blue Toyota as a battering ram, stealing high-end merchandise in just seconds, and the timing of this could not be any worse.
Now the people that...
Now, you think the stolen sneakers, are they going to MacArthur Park or are they going to eBay?
Well, if you steal enough of them, they can go both places.
Now the people that's going on vacation to come out here, we're going to be closed for who knows how long because the glass takes 3 weeks and then the door, it's just complicated, man.
Complicated as he and the other business owners here decide if they even want to stay and put up with all of this or be driven out by the smash and grabbers.
We just dropped the sneaker shopping video today, so it brings the awareness to the store, but now the store's closed, so there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, all this free advertising isn't going to help because he cannot open.
At what point do you just say, I'm going to go to a county that's safer or I'm going to go to a state that's safer? Because running a business is hard enough without having to worry about a stolen Toyota being used as a battering ram coming through your wall.
Nevadans need sneakers. Arizonans need sneakers. Even Utah people need sneakers. I don't know what you call Utah people.
Hell, people in Orange County need sneakers.
You're just hanging tough right now.
I'm just hanging tough.
Yeah, hanging tough, hanging strong, he says, now live. So when you add it all up, thousands of dollars to replace the glass, your door out front, all the stolen merchandise.
And that's the other thing. These car crashes are so destructive that it sometimes dwarfs what was actually stolen when it comes to how much you have to pay.
The stolen merchandise, the store probably won't be open until the middle of next month. And if all of that isn't serious enough, then you've got to worry, stay up at night, as he was saying, worry that you could be hit again. You could be targeted again. No wonder so many of the business owners right down this block, they just had enough. They packed in, they're gone. For now, we're live, the Fairfax District. Back to the west side we go.
There you have it. Ed Laskos, the best in the business, but I seriously don't know how small business owners can put up with this sort of thing on a regular basis.
Well, and I don't know what we have to do. Do we need to put up bollards in front of every single storefront in the entire state of California that are strong enough to withhold a Toyota pickup?
No, we don't need to do that. What we need to do is when we catch these bastards, we need to put them in prison and we need to keep them there until they have gray hair and they're too old and tired to steal cars and use them as battering rams.
Well, with the current leadership in Sacramento, that's not happening anytime soon.
All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And surprise, surprise, this edition involves homeless people and fire danger.
That's because the homeless are stealing electricity with a lot of long tied-together wires.
Uh-oh. That's also not going to help you keep your insurance.
For more, here's NBC4.
A story that has a lot of people talking online as several homeless encampments in South Los Angeles appear to be tying cables together to steal power from nearby power poles.
Some people,
it would feel like that's a really easy crime to solve because you literally just follow the wire.
Well, but then you have to have the backbone to make sure that they don't have the ability to do that. You have to unplug them
from nearby power poles.
Some people there are very concerned about the potential fire risk. And in fact, today, our crew out there spotted a fire nearby.
You don't say.
Surprise, surprise.
NBC4's Alex Rozier with the story.
When we arrived here near Broadway and 39th this afternoon, we noticed a couple of problems right away. First, this van here was on fire.
Oh, might need to save that for the end of the year.
This van here was on.
Wait, I got to get the whole thing.
This van here was on fire.
That'll get your attention.
So you're going on to cover a story. The assignment editor says, hey, we need you in South L.A. We're getting reports of people stealing power, and there's wires all over the place. You pull up there, you unload the news van, you pull out the camera, and the first thing you see is a van on fire.
This van here was on fire.
And now you know why that's why the assignment editor sent you there.
This is what it looks like now. I want to show you what the video looked like when we pulled up as LAFD quickly responded and put it out. At this point, we don't know the cause of the fire.
Now, let's not forget, LAFD, half of all the fires they get sent on are for the homeless. And that's true for the city of L.A., and that's true for the county of L.A., and that's probably true for most fire agencies in the state of California. Half of them are related to the homeless.
Do we really have to pretend that we don't know how that fire started?
But while we were here, we spotted another problem that appears to be quite common in this area. You can see the trailer in the distance, and take a look at this cable that is on the ground. It wraps around the corner about 200 feet of cable, and it goes all the way down to a power pole that we'll show you in the distance. As it appears, homeless encampments in the area are taking power from that light pole right there. Another camp across the street.
How is that not a crime that we could easily arrest somebody for?
Well, and I love the fact that none of these people can get a job or pay their bills or go to the bathroom with a toilet. Yet they could figure out how to illegally steal power from a power line like it's the professor on Gilligan's Island.
Right there, another camp across the street is doing the same thing. And these aren't the only places where this is happening.
This is wire. Somebody busted into this telephone or this light pole.
This video was shared on the Instagram page Street People of Los Angeles.
Huge shout out.
They do great stuff.
It was recorded a few blocks away here in South L.A. It shows another elaborate setup where nearby homeless encampments have tied cables together to tap into the power from a nearby power pole. We did drive past this setup.
Gee, I wonder why my DWP bill is so high.
All of these stories are related. Why is your power bill so high? Why are you being dropped from your insurance company? Why is there blight all over your neighborhood? Well, this is why.
We did drive past this setup today and noticed that it has been taken down. But we did reach out to LA's Bureau of Street Lighting and attempted to get their reaction. We want to know what they are doing about it and if they have any comment on the potential fire risk. So far, we have not heard back. If we hear from them, we'll be sure to update you. In South LA, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
So there you go. Power poles in South L.A. being tapped into with these long tied-together cables going straight into homeless encampments, and we're not doing a damn thing about it.
You see, this is what drives people crazy. There is one set of rules for the middle class and people who pay their taxes and pay their bills, and one set of rules for everyone else. When your policy comes up, your insurance company can ask you to take pictures of the outside of your house, of every room in the house. They'll fly drones over your home and take pictures of your roof. They'll take pictures from satellites. They may send someone physically to your property. And you have to comply with all of that, or they can drop you from your policy because they want to make sure there's no fire risk there. Yet, one of these homeless encampments that's stealing power from a power line can do that and no one will shut them down when everyone knows that's a known fire risk and vans are on fire right next to the encampment and nobody cares. Yet you have to go through an insurance colonoscopy before you get renewed by your company. It's like COVID with the 6 feet rule and wearing the mask and wearing the gloves and the glass going up so that you don't talk in someone's face. It's all a placebo. It's all meant to make it look like we're doing something about it, when in fact, you're doing nothing. If you take pictures of your backyard or you take pictures of your room, what does that do for fire risk? What does that prove? Yet you have these encampments that you know are ready to explode at any moment, and you do nothing about it. And you act like someone who has solar panels on their roof is the problem? It's unreal. Right now, we'll go to the phones and welcome Chris in Newport Beach. Chris, hello.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Hey, so I've done a bunch of design work for LADWP. And by the way, love you and Randy. Great show. Thanks for all you guys do to bring light to these items. It's just fantastic. LADWP uses a very inefficient means of distributing power to their streetlights. They use standard 120-volt wall power that you would have in your house. So for these homeless to go ahead and tap into the light poles and get power to power their homeless encampments is a simple matter. That's not a lethal voltage, generally speaking. And the other thing is LADWP, instead of using a master photocell to control, for example, a whole string of lights down an entire street off of one photocell at the power source, they put individual photocells on each pole. So each pole is actually live 24 hours a day, which makes it that much easier to have reliable power for these homeless encampments.
So you think this will become more common, not less common?
So if I just steal an extension cord from Walgreens, I can jack into the power grid. And in fact, maybe I'll unsubscribe from DWP. I'll just plug into the power cord and power my house. No, they'll go after me for that, wouldn't they?
Thank you for the call, Chris. Let's go to Freddie in Beverly Hills. Freddie, hello.
Oh, yeah, this is Freddie, and I just wanted to tell you I have this guy who bought 3 apartment buildings near me, and he finally got rid of all his tenants in October. The place has been sitting empty. The squatters came in. The police have been there several times. They put a fence up. They're still back. They were taking electricity from the power pole. We've had 2 fires there already also. Just want to let you know. And the city says that there's nothing they can do. The owner says that the city won't give them a permit to condemn. The city says it's the owner's responsibility, and it's not true. And all the neighbors are stuck.
Well, this is the exact same thing that happened in Hollywood with that squatter building that Hugo didn't want to do a damn thing about until it burned to the ground.
Yeah, no, it's, we have children that live in the building next door. And imagine the people that have to live directly right next to where all these squatters are now. There's garbage, there's drugs, there's feces. They broke the fence. When the police initially came and kicked them out, 3 hours later, they came back and said it was their property. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I think that the city really wants to let these people stay there because that's their way to solving the homeless issue for right now.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, sir. Thank you so much for calling. In a city that just burned down due to a fire, you'd think we'd take these things more seriously, but L.A. is always going to L.A.